Hi all, my name is Harvicane, Harvey for short, and this is my first Cringetober video. It's only the first few days because I'm so terribly behind the times on this challenge. I am also horrible with trying to stick to these challenge prompts like Inktober and these kinds of set things. I've always been horrible with that, so we'll see how this goes. Anyways, day one is heterochromia, which means two different eye colors. So I decided to make this boxy robot character with a blue eye and a green eye. As we can see here, I initially wanted to give them this very rotund body, but I decided just to stick with the head. I used the color of orange for kind of the base for the robot because I felt that the orange would help the blue and the green pop, and I really like orange as a color. And I felt the rust here as well. It kind of added more of this, this robot's seen some things, kind of a vibe for it. So I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Next we have day two, which is self-insert. I struggled for a while on ideas of where I could insert myself, and it took a while, but I kind of realized I've been listening to the Phantom of the Opera soundtrack recently and decided to go for more of that angle, not as Christine, but instead of the Phantom, and this was kind of a fun one. I was a big fan of sketching out the pose and the boat because I'm not super used to poses like this, especially for men. And then also really not used to drawing vehicles and big kind of structures like this. Starting here in the more defined sketch layer, I'm actually really proud with how the face was coming out. I didn't know exactly how I was going to make myself look more emotable through the mask portion, and I wanted to make the mask portion also like have more rigid features, similar to like how the actual musical is. So I was really proud of that, and I also wanted to incorporate this kind of trench coat kind of cover, or kind of like a long suit coat. With this kind of Dracula vampiric kind of collar. But I'm really, really proud, and as you guys know, I go over multiple sketch layers when I'm doing these, so I was really kind of proud how this was kind of coming out with the design. The pants, albeit they come across a little bit skinnier than what someone might wear at this time, but now we're kind of going in with the inking layer, so the main thing for me is I try to start the inking layer with the face because the face is one of those focal points where if I don't do the face right, it's gonna come out horribly. So now kind of going in with these kind of long strokes of the coat and the lapels, and then into that vest as well. And then I kind of work on the pant legs next before getting into the arms with those cool kind of cuffs and the those like the oars stick, and then also with that hand there, and then we kind of go down into the boat to kind of get the shape of the kind of the bending of the wood, and get into the color here, which this kind of comes kind of quick as I'm getting all of the color put in and kind of finishing it all up. But I'm really, really liking how this all turned out with the shadow and the kind of the clouds and everything coming up and the smoke. I'm really, really proud and happy how this one turned out. And lastly, we have day three, which is unnecessarily complex fit. So when I think of any outfit that is unnecessarily complex, I think of Kentucky Derby hats. I love them. They're just these huge, just insane hats. So I sketched out the hat here, and I wanted the hat sketch to help inspire the rest of the look as I kind of craft this look that would go along with this hat. And just kind of going on through in this sketching layer, which a lot of the sketch layers that I'm going to be doing are going to take a bit of time, so just to talk through them, kind of working more on the design. The design of the umbrella initially looks more like a Dr. Seuss style umbrella, which I'm not 100% in love with, so we do later design that, or redesign that later, but now we're just kind of going back in with another sketch layer to kind of work more with the bust there, and to kind of more refining the shape of the body. I really like how I design women's bodies because it has its very specific look, which I very much like to a degree. I'm not totally in love with the shape, but it's fun. So as we can see, I've also added in kind of the shoulder puffs, the bows on the arms, the flower on the bust, which I end up changing later, so enjoy it for the moment. And then we kind of move into the parasol here, which I have this bow on the back, and work on this puff at the top, which I hate, and then I get rid of, and make it into more of a kind of silly doily kind of look, which is still very cute. I love it a lot. That kind of work on the flower, get rid of the flower, and change it to this kind of diamond with these kind of intricate designs. Do a little bit of detail on the face just so I can kind of block out how I want it to look. Also at the hair, which I love how I did the hair for this. Love the hair. And then we kind of go more with filling out that empty space on the body with these kinds of vine-like designs. And then kind of also working on the bottom of the dress with kind of what I want to add. So I had that bow. I had these kind of like cuts on the body to kind of add more, fill out that blank space in there, which we'll see later how I do fill that in. And then we kind of sketch very briefly how we're going to have the hat look. And then I go in with this more refined sketch layer to kind of have more of a blocked out idea of how I'm going to be having these things look. Which I try to take my time and really work with how I want the hat to look, because it's, even though I do want to work with the face, the hat is the focal point, really. If the hat isn't right, the look isn't going to be right. So now we're moving into the inking, which of course I'm starting on the head, because if the head and the face aren't right, the whole look is going to fall for me, if I'm being honest. So I worked mainly on those core things. I want to work with the face and the head, the eyes, the nose, the shape of the head, the hair. I want those things to work. And now we're working into with the hat, which just inking, going over basically everything I did in that last sketch layer for the hat, because that was for the most part how I wanted that stuff to look in for the inking, and then kind of finishing up with the hat for the inking. And now we're kind of moving back into the body, so kind of going with the arm, the puff, the doily end of the sleeve and the hand, working on that bust, and also working on the other arm, and then kind of working on the core shape of the body. And then once I have those things planned out, then I start working on the other minor things that are on the body, which are the bows, which love the design of the bows, the specific designs I have on the dress, the intricacies of the kind of swirly vine-like textures that I have all over the top, and then working on this parasol, which I'm very happy the end result of the parasol. I think the parasol looks amazing. And now we're going in here with the color. So I start with this pink layer first, because as I do this white and this red, I do this pink with an opacity layer on top, just to give it this cohesive pink flavor and this layer for it, and kind of doing all major of the blocking. And now we're kind of going with some light shading. I love the kind of flower design I did in the back. How this ended up turning out, especially with all this shading and this cool designs on here, I'm just 100% in love. I love how everything ended up turning out here, especially with one of the last touches I did was just adding all that glitter effect on there, because I think that really brings it together. To me, when I do a lot of the glitter, it kind of looks like sequins from a distance, but if if I separate that, it does also look to me like, oh, it's just very shimmery and shiny. And everything with this, I am just in love. I love everything with this look, and it most certainly is my favorite of the three that I did. I honestly just wouldn't change a thing with this. But with wrapping that up, that concludes this video, which is just the first 3 days of the Cringetober challenge. So obviously, I have so much more to do, and one day I will get to them. But I would say, even the robot one, the initial one, like that was a fun one. That was just some kind of quick. I really liked the design of it. The Phantom one, I liked the design, but it took me so long to work on it and come up with the design and the idea I want to do for it, that one took such a time suck and took so much time. The third one didn't really take me that long to do, and it was just an absolute blast to do that one, and most certainly it's my favorite. So I'm really happy with how that one turned out. So with everything here, most certainly I'm most proud of all of them, so I'm very, very happy with how these all turned out and how great they are. So I'm very happy with them, but I can't wait to see what I will be doing next. So please let me know if you guys liked seeing my Cringetober videos. I really enjoyed doing it. I would love to do more art challenge videos. And if you have any thoughts or kind of critiques you'd like to say about these, please let me know. Please be nice in the comments. I don't hurt my feelings. Thank you so much. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.